All right, welcome back to this week's episode of the Wildly Painful podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm Nicole.
And
we just are going to loosely start with something that I found on my tea tag and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those yogi tea tags, it says every neighbor can be your teacher.
Yes, every neighbor can be your teacher.
So
what
what do we discern from that?
Well, that's the thing. Is this I mean, what to me this is a very true and profound statement.
Okay, oh my god, hit me with it. I got the tea ready to drink.
Because here's the thing. Every neighbor, which is basically those who you meet with, those within your area that are within your reach or whatever.
Yeah.
Anybody that you encounter is how I'm understanding that can be your teacher.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everything in every person we meet teaches us something.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the saying is trying to get you to understand that even the people that you feel like you have nothing in common with or whatever, they are there to teach you something, because everybody is really reflecting an aspect of yourself back at you for you to see and learn and grow from. Do you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
So every neighbor is your teacher.
Your
teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we can learn from everybody, and who do you learn from? Teachers. So then there's the meaning behind that statement when I hear it.
Nice.
Okay. And so what is your...
Well, intuitively I know that you're right. That sounds completely right. And I will just say that what are some barriers there? Because I know that you're right, and I know that I have times when I'm open and I can see it, and other times when I'm not. And I can tell by the way that you're talking that you might be more in the zone than me. So this will be you helping me get there. But what am I trying to say? How do you get connected with that feeling that everyone's a teacher? Because I think it's easy to be closed off or focused in your own little world, or think that interaction was meaningful, but those two interactions totally meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
So how do you be in such a state that you receive it and are in tune with the fact that they're teachers as opposed to?
Well, I would say at least the way that I incorporate this type of philosophy is not necessarily that I maintain a state of seeing everybody as a teacher, but when I find that I'm like irritated with somebody, or I'm embarrassed by somebody, or somebody otherwise gives me a uncomfortable feeling, that there is a learning to be had within that interaction, and that there's something about them, whatever it is that they are triggering in me, is a reflection more so of me than it is of who they are or what they've done.
Okay.
And so I don't necessarily walk around thinking that everybody's a teacher and maintain a state of that, and I'm not even necessarily that great at applying this type of thinking, but it's just something that I believe in, and I wish that I did use it more consistently in life, but to try to view my interactions differently, especially when they're uncomfortable interactions. So yeah.
So if someone irritates you, yeah, because I'm trying. Okay, well, I'm glad we're on the same page then. It feels intuitively true, but it might not always be easy to apply or easy to remember in the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So if somebody's irritating you,
yeah,
what does that mean in this framework?
So what I guess if we okay, who do you have an example of somebody last time somebody maybe irritated you?
Oh,
or-
no, not off the bat. Do you?
Okay.
It's hard to think of an example.
It really is, but
That's good. We're getting less irritatable in as
Yeah.
time goes on, probably from the work we've done. Maybe who knows?
sure.
When is the last time? I mean, okay, my mom. Okay, for example, my mom, when she makes like a bagel with cream cheese for my dad or me, which is a sweet act of service, she doesn't ever use a plate. She just puts it on a table, dirty table, or my bed where I'm gonna eat it, and I was criticizing her. I was being critical without meaning to. I'm like, normal people like use a plate or whatever, but she got really irritated because I guess that was received as critical or whatever. But she doesn't ever use a cutting board. She'll just cut on the stove directly. Like so these little things.
Oh,
So yes,
interesting.
yeah. So what is this?
Yeah,
What is this teaching
I
me?
understand the irritation there because I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't really expecting that.
This example, you mean? Yeah, that was a weird example. It's weird human behavior, and it's a weird example of what we're talking about. But yeah, it's in my active memory. It's my most recent one.
Right. Well, okay. I mean, okay. So there's there's a part of you that's getting irritated by that. It's
Yeah.
not just a quirk that you can live with or whatever. It's triggering a sense of discomfort in you that she does that, and it's part of her behaviors. Now, what is I totally get why it would be uncomfortable or irritating, whatever. But what is wrong with her doing that? What is it what is irritating about it?
It is well, I'll just be comfortable if I sound judgmental when I say this, but it is unrefined.
Okay.
That's one word that comes. And it's just lacking general life skills. It's just lacking general practical life skills to a degree that it's like, are you kidding? Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Yeah.
But as I hear the judgment, I mean, this is familiar in me too. So I must be uncomfortable with my own, because I'm also unrefined, and also sometimes I think that is a nice trait of mine because I'm not like following some sort of propriety.
Right.
But I must be I must also be afraid to be judged about it too, or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I think also, and it just given, I think context might even be important here because we're isolating something that triggers you that irritates you based on something your mother does, but there's a whole relationship and history there also that might add to those feelings, and so maybe the
That's true.
yeah, like the lesson I don't think is necessarily have to do with being unrefined, but perhaps there is an aspect of you that might feel that there could have been more refinement in how you were raised or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I could have maybe used some life skills, but I had to develop them elsewhere.
You had to develop them elsewhere, right? And so you're kind of being faced with having that life experience, right? And it's being shown to you by the very person who gave you that experience in a way,
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a good point.
yeah, but I think like
Mm-hmm.
so
Because when I think about you doing that, I don't get annoyed.
right, and that was going to be my next question: is this have to do with your mom specifically, or does this have to do with whatever? But that's the thing, is that she's the neighbor in the situation. So the lesson that whatever is going to be, it's going to be all encompassing. Like the stuff that she represents to you, you know, is going to affect how you respond to the little things that she does, which end up being big things because there's so much behind it, really. And there's a history that's not necessarily being seen or presented in that moment, but it still exists there. It flavors the experience regardless, you know?
Yeah. Wow, yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned that. So then, in these examples about last time we were irritated, I see why you said you weren't expecting it, because mom, anything with a mom or a dad or something is going to be pretty complicated, because it does, if irritation is unlikely to be coming from just the incident in and of itself,
right?
And is likely. So but you said that in a really nuanced, nice way. That was very therapist-y.
Oh, okay,
Therapist
cool.
Bartlett figured it out. Like, you helped me understand it in a way. But yeah, so I guess when we talk about irritating, it's a little more straightforward if we use strangers, because then it's a little more easy to isolate the behavior or the impression it has on us.
Right. So, like, for example, if you have if you have a coworker who maybe isn't taking the work or doesn't seem to take the work as seriously as you, but they somehow still get praised, or there's like you're seeing there's like an annoyance there. It's irritating. Like they're somehow flying by without working hard, you know, but and it's irritating you because maybe you feel like you work really hard and you're not getting the same thing. But the thing is they're not the problem. They aren't the problem in this relationship. Really, it's about how you are viewing them in relation to you. You are projecting a certain expectation that you have put on yourself, and you put that onto them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so there can be friction when someone isn't showing up in the way that you feel like you show up because you gave yourself those expectations. But how are they supposed to know? They have different expectations for themselves, and they're in a way, they're kind of showing you, they're mirroring to you how you have set yourself up for certain behaviors that you've somehow made stringent on. Obviously this is an example, but
yeah.
You know, that you've somehow made it some sort of tenet on how life should be lived, when it's completely only a self-imposed thing that's self-contained, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that even makes sense.
Yeah,
I kind of went off a little bit, but like, so it's a very general idea in terms of my interpretation of how people can be mirrors in that way.
Much less complicated. Yeah. Don't do the mom. It's much less complicated.
It's so funny though. That was very
My
interesting.
mom, she does this shit. Let's rant about my mom for the next 50 minutes. And you're like, clearly other shit is going on there. Oh, good point. Good point.
That's funny. But like, I also just didn't know how to answer that, because let's say if, you know, it was just a stranger who did that and that irritated you, I don't know what that mirror would be.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be like, I don't know. It might be, I don't know. I'd really be curious.
Maybe it's the same thing with the irritability. You've set yourself up for these certain ways of living that that, you know, and if somebody else isn't embodying what you think is important, then it's triggering, and you're not then obviously there's something about yourself that you are setting up for that type of tension. I don't know. That I don't know.
Well, that's interesting, because like I can follow you at least until you say if somebody's not moving in such a way that those things are important like if something's important to you and somebody's moving in such a way that it's not, that's pretty interesting and egocentric, but also just like interesting. Like if a person can't tolerate,
Yeah.
like if what matters isn't that we use a cutting board. What matters is that the thing gets cut up and done whatever we need to get done with it.
Right.
She's getting it done. Oh, she's giving people snacks with the bagels and cream cheese. Like, who cares if they're not, if it doesn't bother the person, who cares if they're not on a thing?
Right.
So, where was I going with this? It's getting done and she's doing it.
Right.
So, why would it matter? But I see that in me sometimes outside of my mom.
Yeah.
Like people doing things differently than me or thinking things differently than me. I mean, at least I can remember in the past like a vague impression of that. That would be a weird... I'm happy that you called it out with those specific words, because that would be a pretty narcissistic way to maybe live, or egocentric way to live, if I thought that all people should function the same. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's also very... I mean, we're very... Humans are like very judgmental beings, you know what I mean? And
I love being judgmental. Anyways, yeah. I just thought I'd lean into that moment. Anyways, yeah, humans are judgmental beings.
Yeah, and so like there's always gonna be, I don't know, it is a very narcissistic way, but I think that a lot of us, like, we engage with that to some degree or another, you know, just seeing somebody do something different, whether it's irritating or just something we judge, is, you know, dependent on whatever. But
the mind loves that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The mind loves to go, this is one thing and that's the other. Ew. Like,
yeah, it's very othering. Yeah. I feel like the mind is kind of, I mean, in a way, that's how it sees itself as something separate. It's like, that's how it continuously defines itself, by seeing things as different or other, and placing judgment on it, you know?
Yeah, the mind loves that shit.
Yeah.
I love that shit sometimes.
I know.
Lean into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I just thought I would own that, because have you ever judged I just thought in that moment that I would own it, because I feel like, do you ever judge yourself for being judgmental, which creates further tension?
Yeah, I do, and I feel like, and I went through. Sometimes I still go through this where I'm like, God, I'm so judgmental. Like, what? Yeah, I do have my moments where I get confused why I feel so strongly about what somebody else is doing or how they're behaving, you know. But yeah, do you get like that?
Oh, yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm just trying to get examples. My mind's going a little blank here and there, but I'm trying to think. The things that we're saying, like, about, like, getting mad when people don't move like me or do things like me,
Yeah.
or being judgmental, like, in general, I feel like there's a lot more self-judgment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But in general, I can remember, but I feel like they're a little bit older now. Like, I feel like I've moved away from them a little bit. Not necessarily that I'm all over it, and it's probably in recesses of my mind and stuff, but I feel like I have been much, maybe more in the past, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like there's
more...
the impressions of those behaviors are further away.
Yeah, you mean like behaviors that you judge?
Yeah, or
same,
just
yeah.
being judged. I was more judged. This vague impression that I was more judgmental in the past. Like,
yeah,
generally more. I just get this vague, when I think about just the general past, I just get a vague impression of all sorts of dark, judgy, unhappy behaviors of just representing a lot more tension. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because almost judgment is almost like a coping mechanism. If you're deriving some sort of joy from making those distinctions and stuff like that, that's a pretty unhappy person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost like placing judgment on other people, you know, makes makes you feel superior in a
Yeah,
way. So it
yeah.
kind of gives you
Yeah, well said.
more like an inflated sense of self. And I think that somebody who's overly judgmental is likely underneath it all suffering from a very deflated sense of self. So that's how they are choosing to compensate for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very directly linked.
Do you have, any time though, because I'm not saying I'm over any of these things, but I'm just saying that they're faded a little bit,
Yeah.
or softened a little bit. So any time that I do think of anything, I'll, bring it in or whatever, and we can talk about it. But I was curious, do you find yourself feeling judgmental sometimes, or do you have an example, going back a little further, do you have an example of anyone irritating you in recent past that ends up being a mirror for you? Either one that you feel like answering.
Well, it's interesting because, and I don't know if it's not recent past because I've been trying to actively work on this, but I used to really judge people who would cry on, specifically like on a, like TikTok or something. Like, but I know that because I'm thinking, well, this person is like, obviously, like, why would you cry into a camera? Like they're obviously just seeking some attention, or they just, it's like, it's probably fake tears, whatever. I wouldn't even necessarily consciously have those thoughts in that. Like, it would just be an immediate like judgment that I would have. And the way that's a mirror is because it's exactly why I don't cry. And we were just talking about how it's so difficult to cry. That's why I don't cry, is because I fear those judgments. And so I could continue to have that belief about other people, but what I'm trying to understand is like, well, how is that a mirror to me? And it's like, it didn't take me long to figure out, well, a part of me wishes that I could just cry openly on a fucking like, if I wanted to express myself to a wider audience and be raw and real with it, like I rob myself of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to justify that by judging other people for doing it, even though that's probably exactly what my soul wants. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
So
that is so strange, the way we attack the very thing that we wish we could do.
Yeah,
wish we had the courage to do.
Yes, and that's the thing is, I think that's a lot of what people. I think that's the majority of it, of personal attacks, is there's a not a jealousy, but like a desire to want what they're doing. And so it's like, well, since we won't let ourselves do that, we have to justify it somehow by placing a judgment and saying, well, I must be better than them because I can judge them negatively about what they're doing, even though underneath it all, that's I wish I had that freedom to do that.
Oh, yeah. This is brilliant, the way you're picking apart judgment and personal attack
it's
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we can then argue, if you're being judged, that you might be on to something.
Yes. If you're being judged, you might be onto something. And then that's what it's like. They say, like, there's, I don't know, there's some type of quote that says like you're always crazy until you're proven right. You know what I mean? It's like there's always a resistance to like something, and to like, I don't know, maybe it's on a different vein, but it's like yeah, I think that people who, like in our history, the great minds, they came up initially against a lot of judgment and resistance, and they ultimately ended up being received as great, you know, and so I think people, yeah, I think they just want, I don't know, yeah, I've lost my train of thought here.
Well, that's amazing. It's like such resistance to something, like, is, I don't know, it's if people are judging these great minds when they come up and they start saying stuff, then by what we've just talked through, they must on some level know that they're doing something great or expressing something in a way that they wish they could, or know that that must be true somehow, what they're saying.
Yeah.
And rather than confront that they themselves are not grappling in their own greatness and struggle and being themselves, they're attacking those great minds.
Right.
So that really puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
That really puts things in perspective, that if you're being attacked, yeah, you might be onto something. And I'm blown away because you're probably right. Like, do you have? Yeah, it makes me want to look, because I feel like you must be right. What people that have been attacked but then proven to be right. I mean, it feels like a vibe that people after their death they realize, and
right.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like it's really prominent, but anyways, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away because I don't know. I'm really inspired by the idea that that if some of this fear of judgment can be overcome, and in fact judgment can almost be a signal that you're going in some maybe good direction.
Yeah, exactly. Or at the very least, the judgment is a reflection of the judger and not the one who's being judged.
Yeah.
That's I would say 100% true across the board of everything, you know. It's never, it's always a reflection of the judger. So regardless of whether we're doing something great or not and there's receiving resistance, it still holds no value, the judgment. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At least not for us, unless we choose it, unless we make it a part of our, you know.
So then, in order for us to not be the kind of people that judge people and attack people, consciously or unconsciously, out loud or not out loud, in the past, in the future, little bit, big bit, how would we have to then be living? We'd have to be, I don't know, like, how would we be having to live such that we saw those good things for what they were?
Well, I think a lot of it is just living in a very self-referential way, or I don't know if that's the right word, like self-reference. In other words, understanding that if there's a resistance to something or somebody and it's triggering something, to look at yourself and to say, well, is there something I can untangle here in order to view them differently? You know, like what is my judgment about them saying about me? You know, there's a way to, I guess, reframe it. I don't think that it's quite possible to live a life where you just don't judge people or anything, or well, I mean, I'm sure it could happen. I mean, I think it's relatively rare.
But you've proposed the middle step, or the work that we're in right now, is to notice when we're being.
Yeah, and then make it our teacher, you know what I mean? Make it a way to learn from about ourselves, you know?
Yeah, beautiful.
Like, what is it about me that's causing this judgment? That's kind of like I think the question to ask, when we're feeling resistant to somebody, whether we're angry with them, irritated, or mildly annoyed or whatever. And I think that's how you work through that, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, if you live at your best, a full and happy life, if you live a life at your best, full and happy, like I'm wondering if you become free of judgment.
Well,
as a result, like as a secondary, like if there's some way that
like it's a byproduct.
Yeah,
of it. Yeah, and I think that's probably I would say absolutely, because not only there becomes no reason for the judgment. You are already fulfilled, and I it goes back to like saying that judging other people is a way to make us feel better about ourselves. It makes us feel like we're a step above, even if it's a tiny step above, like that's what I think that the purpose underneath it all judgment is. And so if you're living if you're truly living a fulfilled life, and you don't need to feel like you're doing anything better than anybody else, then I'd imagine that you'd be, largely judgment free in those terms.
Mm-hmm.
At least negatively.
Yeah.
Judging people, or wanting to put them down in your mind for whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah. Secure.
So interesting. Yeah.
Like a secure person would just be like, well, that's got nothing to do with me, but
Right.
I can help them, but not from the. Yeah, it'd be cool to see what that felt like, I guess.
Yeah, because it's like when you have your own security in who you are, then it really doesn't matter what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a fascinating idea, and I feel like I'm working on it, but I feel like I have some ways to go, which is fine.
Sure, yeah, me too.
But it's just a fascinating idea to be. I guess I've just been really insecure my whole life, and I've just handled it in different ways, or self-judgment, or other people's judgment, or worrying, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining what that would feel like for a moment.
I know.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for
A moment of silence for what it must feel like to be a secure person. I don't know. No, but that's very interesting. Just thinking about like, I wonder what percentage of people, what do you think? Well, not that it necessarily matters, but I'm just curious, like, what percentage of people are really the secure of themselves and living their ideal lives? Is that
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Because it's like largely invisible to us because they're doing their own thing.
Right, but also I think a lot of people are really good at putting on a facade that they are, fulfilled and secure and whatever, and maybe harbor their own internal demons of, whatever. And I think that's very common.
Mm.
So it's hard to like quantify or qualify. I don't know.
It's hard to know.
Hard to know, yeah.
And then there's just like, people, outward face and inward face, and then most of these people we're not coming in contact with. Like, it's crazy to think that like 8 billion people are just doing their thing, and we only know about like 2 to 3 of them in a given day. We only know I know very few people, like so very few people, and see few people, and it's crazy. Like, I wonder what they're all eating and doing and feeling for most of the time.
I know, me too. I think about that sometimes. Everybody has their own like individual life that's centered around them.
Do you? Yeah, and I wonder how much, I wonder how close to what they thought when they were planning their lives versus, do you know?
Yeah.
I wonder how close to what you thought you were going to get when you came here most people's lives are, and our lives are. Even ours. I wish we could know what we planned.
Okay, there's this hypnosis
Oh, really?
called Life Between Lives,
Mm.
and you can. I think that's part of. That's an aspect of it, is to go back to when you were planning your life.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but I wish I could go back. Yeah, I wish I could see. I guess that
Well,
would.
let's go get this hypnosis.
I know. I actually had it done, but it wasn't really centered around. I didn't spend a lot of time in the life planning phase, because there's a whole different. Each one is different, each session, and so I guess the practitioner just follows the clues of, or you come in with a certain set of questions, and so she kind of resolves it around that. And I didn't ask about my planning, and I wish I did. But
yeah, I just want to know if I'm giving my soul the experiences that it wanted.
yeah, so from my understanding, so there's this book called oh gosh, I forget, something journeys. I forget. Michael Newton, I think, is the author, but he was a hypnosis. He was the founder. He like developed that Life Between Lives thing, and he has thousands of cases that he's had, as like over 7,000 people that he has hypnotized, and he's written books. And there's, interestingly enough, these souls would. So there are certain common themes amongst them, about what would happen, in their life planning and stuff. And one of them is like, so we pick like, I don't know, 3 or 4 life experiences that we will experience no matter what, and the rest of it is up to us. It's there for us to experience and try to navigate it any which way we see that happens.
Cool.
There's a lot of freedom in it, but like, for example, something like, I don't know, maybe the loss of a loved one or something, that's like, these are canon events or whatever that you would choose in your life, but otherwise a lot of it is, I mean, it's just up to us while we're here, and it's like there's a certain level of freedom there that we assume.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think we'll make sure that those things happen no matter what, but then the rest is so free form.
Yeah, the rest is like so free form. And I think some of those events that we choose might be put there just to kind of guide us in a certain direction, or like to kind of well, it's an experience that we want to have to grow from, I guess, apparently. But, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's also so, like, I wish it would just come down here and tell me what to do sometime. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, it's a little bit, maybe we get stuck in our own ways and we lost our excitement, or we got to where we avoided fear or whatever. So maybe we're untangling it now. But when we get so tangled, or otherwise, sometimes it would be nice if the soul was just like, yeah, like, stay on track. We wanted to do that. I'm like, wouldn't that be so nice sometimes?
I know it would. It really would. Yeah.
Unless that would take the mystery out of it, but.
Well, the thing is I think that the mystery, I think the freedom aspect of it is like the most valuable part of it, because I think like what we're saying is we want to know we're doing the right thing, and we want to have the answers, and we want to feel the guidance to know that we're not missing our intended journey. We want to get it right. But I think the lesson to be learned is that you can't get it wrong. And I think we've touched on this a few times. Is like, life is here for us to fumble around with and stall with and grapple with. That is where like the juices of life are. That's what that's still very much a part of it. We're not missing the mark here, and coming to that realization and that acceptance, I think, is where like our liberation comes from.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we can free ourselves, you know.
I'm happy that you said that, because I'm like, yeah, okay. Let's let go of the feeling like I'm always behind or doing it wrong.
Right.
Because I have such a deep-rooted tendency to compare myself with other people.
Right.
Or
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
we all do,
Mhm.
I think. You know, but I mean, the other that's the idea that somebody might be farther along on their life journey than us is such a it's purely a human thing, and it's not soul related. I have no idea about the soul evolution of anybody else, and I don't know what type of growth or expansion or they've had in their life. I don't know what they could be the most successful person here according to our standards, but maybe their higher self is going, but well, I wish they would have, you know, spent more time in this pain so they could learn this, or you know what I mean, or understand this, or like, you know, there's certain depth that happens when we grapple with shit, you know. So it's just it really doesn't make sense to compare yourself to other people, because what are you comparing against? You don't even have the data that you want to compare with.
Right. Nonsensical.
Yeah.
But just so ingrained. Like, I can remember doing it when I was so young.
Yeah.
Like, when
absolutely.
I was a kid. Yeah, like, I can remember, and I've just carried that with me.
Yeah, me too. I've been to hell and back a few times with the comparison game.
Yeah, what the hell? But yeah, when you lay it out like that, it's like absolutely nonsensical.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So. How are you feeling?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, do you notice, like, do you feel when we're having conversations, like, I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel like we talk about good stuff that's interesting, and I feel like engaged and like I'm really here. And then I feel like different stuff happens in my body when I do that. I don't know, I'm noticing all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
good.
Does that happen to you too?
I don't get really bodily sensations, but I definitely like the connected, like the engagement feeling, like is really good. It's like, so I just feel like I get in the flow.
Yeah, good.
And out of my head about shit, like you know, so it does feel good. I'm glad that we have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because like sometimes and oftentimes, like I feel like I'm saying something, and and I can tell you're really feeling it, and it's like, but I'm really feeling it too. I'm not like, it's not like I know this stuff really. It's like I feel like I'm learning it in this moment as well.
Yeah.
You know? So.
It's always exciting to watch, like, I see when something in me sees when you're in a flow.
Oh.
And it makes me pay more attention and get really excited.
Oh, cool.
So it almost doesn't matter what you're saying in that moment. It's almost like I'm tuning into something that you're putting out energetically or something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that's I think that's interesting that you say you can see that or you can pick up on it, because I can tell when it's about to hit, and then when it's there, it's open and flow. But the thing is the key to it is just getting out of my head, you know. That's like that's how, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to not think too much about trying to make sense. I just gotta like word vomit it a little bit.
Yeah. Let it come out like this.
Yeah.
Let it come out like and then it finds its way there anyway.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow, that's pretty incredible. And that's like trusting the process, right? I'm going to start talking. It's going to make no sense in the beginning. It's almost like you have to warm up your connection between your mouth and your brain, or
yeah.
It's almost like it needs to warm up or something, and it can get tripped up on different things, and then when it's really going, nothing can stop it. Yeah, I was noticing on the piano the other day, I was playing and it was turning out terrible. And then the next time I sat down, it turned out. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm starting to realize the value of warm up.
Yeah.
Because you're not just you're warming up the connection between all of your parts that's off. It's completely off kilter, and you do a little bit. And you're like, oh, that was bad. No, you didn't stick with it long enough for it to get back into phase or whatever. Yeah, just a little rusty. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's just a pontification on what you were saying. But it's like,
no, that's good.
Yeah. Just trust the process.
Trust the process.
Warm it up and talk. Yeah. It feels like you're. Yeah, I can. Yeah. So what happens when it's about to hit? When you feel like you're in flow? Because you said you know when it's about to hit.
Yeah, I can feel something is coming. That's a point. That's like I don't know how. It's like I'll start talking and I may not even know. I might have a vague idea of what I'm getting at, but then I know there's it's leading somewhere, and then it's like I just gotta keep talking and let it out. Like it's like if I start to plan what I'm going to say, like I'm out of the game. My mind is blank.
Oh God,
yeah. So it is like trusting the process, and this reminds me of when I used to go to the library to write. Is that whenever I would like be driving there and I'm trying to think of stuff that I can write about and make sure I make use of my time, I almost always would sit there and it would be a dud session. I could not work it, So I found out that if I drive to the library and I just hardly think that I'm going to the library and I just tell myself, you know what? I'm just going to the library. I may not even write. I would have the best writing sessions. It's like you got to trust the process to the point where you're not trying to control it. It's just got to let it happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. I think in a lot of stuff, a lot of ways, like in life. Forcing
it is hardly a thing.
Yeah. It's bound to not work out through force.
Mm-hmm.
But like the less grip you have on something, the more life you give it. You're not starving it of oxygen, and so you're letting it breathe. And then once you let it breathe, it's like it stays alive, it grows, it's,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those moments, the creative flow moments.
Yeah.
Without trying to control it, I'm trying to learn more about it, such that Akshay has this thing he says where he says, just try to create the conditions such that grace can come in. And I love that. So it's like every day maybe you're practicing your crafts or you're taking good care of your body or whatever the hell you're doing, such that you plan the activities that are opportunities such that maybe you can be taken over by something that's kind of bigger than you a little bit almost.
Yeah.
So I like that because you have control over the conditions, but you don't have control over the outcome.
Right.
So I always thought that was nice. It's an inspiring way to think about it, I thought.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I wonder, yeah, it does. I feel like I used to be able to get into flow a lot more often than I do now. So I'm trying to maybe ask myself why that is and connect with that a little bit more as we're talking about it, because I'm very interested in it. Yeah. And I feel like as we're talking, I'm feeling sensations. I don't know. I'm able to just talk about anything as it comes up, and that's very freeing. that's one. There's one component where this is very nice for me. Is where, like you said, you're just talking as it comes and letting it happen. I feel the same way. I feel like I'm censoring myself in different scenarios socially or even in environments that could be creative. I'm probably putting restrictions or limitations, but I think it's the freedom that you're talking about. And then we're not in our, I think that's getting in the head and controlling stuff are, I think, two sides of the same coin. Because if you're like in a social setting and you're like, oh, it can't be this way or it can't be that way, then what other way, then how can you be?
Right.
Then how can you be?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was something else I was going to say about that, but I just lost it. It's like, yeah, I just lost it. But, yeah, anyway, I think I'm so much in my head all the time, but this is one of those situations where it doesn't feel like we have to be. So that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
But there was something else, but I lost it.
That's fine.
It'll come back.
Yeah,
it needs to come back. Freedom.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it go. If it's meant to be.
It'll come back. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So creativity is free. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that in general, I was ranting to my therapist one time, like about how I hate that you're supposed to be like professional at work.
Yeah.
And you get like a professional alter ego, and there's certain things that you do talk about and don't talk about, and ways to behave and act at work and not. And I just thought, I said, like, why can't I just work on being more me in like every context? And I don't know how to describe the way it brightened me when I said that. Like, I felt like something in the head like went all the way up to the ceiling or something. Like I'm like, because I said some sort of truth there for me. So that's really true for me. So I see value in compartmentalization sometimes. Like, for instance, if there's like tension between me and Akshay, I don't let it affect my relationship with his daughter, even in the setting of the three of us. That's for example. But like I can see compartmentalization there where I'm like, I'm going to put that down because I'm not going to worry about that right now because I'm focused on her. Like, but like, I hate work compartmentalization because I feel like because corporation-y things feel soulless to me, and there's like a soulless vibe of it. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like we're all fucking pretending when we're in the office.
Yeah.
And like, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I'm better than you this way, subtly, let me tell. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's such a performative stupid thing that happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering instances. It's been a while since I've been in an office.
No,
you're
you're totally right. I used to feel like professionalism is a cult. It's like your fucking personality has to fit inside a box. Otherwise, there's HR, there's you can get in trouble, you can lose your, like it's kind of like, it's just this unspoken thing that we all do and we conform to, and yeah, we lose a part of ourselves with it. We're just like, yeah, I totally get that for sure.
And it's competitive in a way that I don't like.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel unsafe, and then I don't feel that I can be creative. Do you know? Competitiveness. I'm just making sure part of your face is off. If you want to come a little further. Your face belongs on the podcast. Competitive.
It's 3:15. I didn't know if you.
Oh yeah, I can leave in 15. We can talk in 15 more minutes if that works. Yeah. Thank you.
But
competitiveness is one of those stifling things for me that makes me feel both unsafe, and then when I'm not feeling safe, I don't feel that I can be creative either.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I hate it. I hate competitiveness. In the workforce, I hated it in school. I would really shut down when there was I would be like, you take it. You want to win? Like, if it's like, I would not. It was like, it wasn't worth it to me. I would just kind of let them take the win. They have the better work. Just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't care.
Yeah, leave me out of it.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I don't like that type of environment because it's like it just creates an unnecessary level of conflict and discomfort. It's like we're all here because we have to be here. Let's just get it done. I don't know. Work together, I guess, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Can't we all just support each other instead of like putting each other down and trying to take credit for each other's work? Can't we just all take the L,
Yeah.
the win together?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching this interview with Emma Watson, and she was saying like, okay, like so they did like 11 movies together or something, with Harry Potter.
Oh, right.
And she was saying that they were like a community and that they were all really close. This is a recent interview of hers. Like but then after she finished Harry Potter, she went out and did other work in the adult world, and she was saying how it was competitive and cutthroat in a way that she like wasn't prepared for, and that it like hurt her. But in a way, she's like, and I'm kind of proud that it did hurt me because then that means that I'm like human and like, I can't remember her specific words, but it just blew my mind that like, she helped me see how complacent we've gotten with what we've made the workplace, like how toxic we've let adult workplaces be, that like she can have work for 11 years with these people, and then when she skilled, smart, like talented, beautiful person, like philanthropic, like as far as I know, as far as the public image, whatever. But she is like, this is toxic shit. So she to me is a little bit innocent in that way. She's like a little bit of a canary in the coal mine because she might have had she has this really amazing ability to express herself, and she had like almost an extended childhood in the sense that she had this really nice working environment as she was growing up and doing these movies, and then she plops into the world that we now deal with, and she's like, this is some toxic, competitive, cutthroaty bullshit. I just feel like she's a canary in the coal mine in the sense that she can tell us, she's telling us that we built something bad. So I wish we could, I hope we can strip it out and make it more real, where people can bring their full selves to the workplace, and people can work, I don't know, together.
Yeah,
not you versus me, but like cooperation. Yeah, it's like we're not playing chess, we're playing a game where your benefit is actually my benefit. That's what game theory says. I'm only barely introduced to it, but the one of the things game theory is trying to say is like, okay, like something that emulates human situation is it's not like chess. It's more a game where if we both cooperate, we get a reward. If one fucks the other over, like that person gets a huge reward in that time, but what are the like long-term consequences of that? And then like if they both try to fuck each other over, they get almost nothing. And like anyway, cooperating, I don't know, cooperating as a species surely can't match what we've got in corporate environments now. Surely this is not how humans thrive. That was, I think,
right. Yeah, exactly. And like the creativity is like suffocated in those environments too. So I wish I could see how things would be if we didn't have that cult of professionalism that we all belong to.
I love that you call it a cult of professionalism. Very accurate.
Yeah.
What would it be like? What would good look like, do you think?
Gosh, I just don't know. I feel like I don't know, that's a good question. What do you think?
I have no idea. It's an interesting question.
It really is, yeah.
What would it look, where could we start? Bring our full selves to the thing despite. Make group activities to bond with your teammates. Strike up conversations with your coworkers to try to build and foster good relationships. Be a good person that you hope everyone would be. Like, these are just random abstract ideas that I have, but like probably starts with building nice trusting relationships with people. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a good start, but maybe even just like in the workforce, like maybe like the hierarchy of an org chart, like readjusting, I don't know, maybe just have, I guess some organizations do that where it's more of a flat line or something, but like in terms of like trying to eliminate the competitive nature that can stifle creativity, or like have programs where if the team does well or the company does well, they all do well, like they're all rewarded. There's no, I don't know.
Yeah, group incentives
Yeah,
rather than like singular.
Yeah, I think that might.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. So you're saying flatten the corporations and incentivize teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Then nobody's trying to get to a certain, right?
Trying to overstep on other people and
to try to climb.
Yeah, there is no benefit to trying to take credit for somebody else's work, in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are concrete things.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm saying, like, in addition to that, what? We build relationships with our coworkers that are good. Boom.
Yeah.
We solved it.
Yeah.
Did we solve the fuck out of this?
I think we kind of did. We should write a book.
We solved it in our minds. Now our orders are to execute it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you tried to call Google tomorrow. Yeah. Listen. Need some team incentives?
Yeah.
Need some what? Need some flattening of your org chart?
Yeah.
And let's all talk to each other more.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Shall we?
I think we shall. All right.
Because we solved all the corporate professionalism.
We solved the world problems.
All right, good.
Our work is done.
All in a day's work.
Yeah, thanks for watching.